We have to keep turning the camera on and recording that every time. Remember that we have to. Sorry, I'm not.
Sure. Yeah.
That sounded rougher than I meant it.
No, I didn't take it that way. That's
Okay.
fine.
Just that it's kind of a pain in the butt to keep it.
Okay. We're in session again, and department reports at this time. And Robin Baker.
So can we just, are we just gonna do 347 or I don't have anything else really to report on?
What are you gonna do?
All your stuff is under new city business, right?
Yes, sir.
You wanna do it at that time?
I don't
When
care.
it
How
comes
you guys
up.
want to do it?
Okay, all right. Did Julie Bisnet make it in yet?
No, sir.
It's not really a department report, but can I do the turtle race thing now?
Yeah, go ahead.
We are having the annual turtle race at the park on July 4th. The flyers are up. I need to post it on Facebook, but it'll be in the paper also. I was going to ask if this might reimburse the ad for the paper. I don't feel like the turtle race is really a park board thing, but it can go either way, I guess. But I just put one ad in there.
What's the cost?
I don't know, whatever she charges for 315, I think. I'd have to get the bill from her. She doesn't give it till after.
I don't have a concern with it.
And I don't ask for the other stuff we do. It's just the Easter egg hunt and the turtle race are actually like city events that Commerce used to do. So it's kind of just gotten mixed up. And
So did you also put that under calendar events? Because that's not a charge.
Yes. Yeah. So it should be in both of the calendar. Well, whatever calendar she puts us in, the ad and then Facebook. And then they've got the flyers up now. But July 4th, 10 a.m., bring your own turtle. We do usually have extra turtles. So if your kids can't find one this year, come on anyway. And we'll have some extra racers. It's pretty fun. The kids do get cash prizes. So it's like $3 for first and then reverse, you know. And then I think we do popsicles after that. If somebody else wants to organize a potluck, they're welcome to do so, but that's not in my wheelhouse at this point. So
If you've never seen it,
I mean, I can hardly get volunteers to like consistently stick to this one, so I need more yearly support. We do need help for this one.
and if you've never seen a turtle eat a popsicle, that's it.
I didn't see that last year.
What are we lacking for this year?
What do you mean?
Do you need help for this one, you said?
I haven't got an MC yet, and then we usually just pull line judges, so that stuff is fine. But if we want to do additional stuff, I need other
She
volunteers.
said that because I asked about the water balloon.
Yeah, water balloon
Egg
toss or
toss.
pot. They used to do a potluck in the past. Sorry, this is taking way longer than I normally. But and I don't mind adding things to it, but we do need more volunteer help to do it. Basically, a lot of the park board is already doing other events.
She's asked for support to pay for the ad. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move that we cover the cost of the ad for the turtle race.
Okay, motion by Jason to cover the cost of the turtle race in the Alma paper, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Oh, I guess I won't vote. Thank you for letting me butt in.
Okay,
347 Lake Shore Drive.
no, we got something else first, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bathhouses was added to that first thing.
Everybody wants to take one of these if you care to look at it. These are just plans for possible options for a bath / shower house.
Thank you.
They don't give these things away. Because I'm a hunter's ed instructor, I have contacts at Pratt. So I called down there and they sent me to 2 different companies that KDWP gets their buildings from for their sites. And it's all pre-made and it's made out of concrete. They're very solid. It's what you see at all the big lakes. You have all your plumbing and everything. You don't even need concrete. All they want is a gravel pad. But like I said, plumbed and electric. They just drop it into place. It pays for the delivery and everything. The 1-holer, 1 bathroom / shower house is about $95,000. The 2-holer is $150. And I don't know why we wouldn't get the 2-holer. But one of the dimensions and everything to see where they might fit and decide on all of that. But
If you want to see what one of these looks like in real life, go to the group camp at Ritchie Cove out at Council Girls Lake. 'Cause that's the bathroom right by the group camp.
they're all over. I was just at Perry and
This one says barnwood texture.
it says what?
Barnwood texture. Those are more like
Yeah, that's what the facade looks like, but it's actually concrete.
oh,
And they're ADA, as you can see in the photos and everything there.
I think we'd have to go with that anyway if we did.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we definitely need upgrades. I mean, we need the plumbing to go where it's supposed to go. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So, I think that we can get a grant, one of those 50-50 grants.
Okay,
So I would move that we use the 100,000 from the sale of the apartment and then match that and get this and get the water lines at the campsites. Fine.
and you said the cost was 150 for the 2 and it's 95 for the single.
Yes.
So when you move in, are you doing both or?
I want to go for the 2-holer.
But we don't have a grant yet. Do you know other grants?
No, not yet.
And what about fundraising? Any thoughts on that?
The only fundraiser that we have out there is selling boat permits and fishing permits. They're not going to get people going around collecting dollars for a campground that you have to pay to stay at.
Well, you might do a fishing tournament.
Yeah,
Possibly, and have a fish fry afterwards since you're not throwing
I don't.
fish back in the
I
lake.
don't think that people would be willing to participate in a fishing tournament. Or, I was thinking doing a golfing tournament.
Is this a budgeted expenditure?
Not like
Yeah.
this year.
I don't even know what's in the lake fund.
Not the funds for that.
Well, I mean, how much do we have?
Well,
You're sitting, because you would need, if it's a 50-50 grant, you wouldn't need the whole 100.
I don't think we should spend 100,000 for that. Got 114,000 from the sale of the Eskridge housing. But I can see half of that for one and use the other half for something else.
I'm just curious about the grant mostly. Like, if we're gonna apply for a grant, I'd like more information on what and when and how much really needs to go into it. Because if it's 150, 75 is the halfway point to that. But it depends on the grant too, because some grants don't mean
Right.
we pay half. They mean we'll give you half of what you have. So that's the question.
But there's also all the other expenses that I'm sure you're aware of.
True. Yes, that's true. But I guess
But I would
If
have
you
to talk
have
to
a-
our grant writer.
if you can find that information. I mean, I don't think we could even really move on it yet until we know if there is something available funding wise, right? In my eyes, that's what
I agree.
but I.
Something
yeah,
is
we need it.
definitely
We
needed.
should.
And
It'd be nice to have some good facilities out there. Are these like shower seats? Is that what they're showing you a person sitting?
It's just a space.
Oh, I
The
see.
wheelchair.
The wheelchair. Okay. I was like, is
This-
this actually like an ADA shower where they?
Yeah, this is actually like a full
I
bed
see.
seat.
Okay, that's why I was confused because I was like, why would they have both of those? Never mind. Just kidding.
For old folks and
I didn't understand it was the wheelchair itself, is what it was. I was like, that's an interesting shower chair.
You're up, Robin.
No, I am. Okay, 347, Lake Shore Drive.
I don't know if anybody else
We
has
just want to do a work of board on the deck on
I
his
agree
job.
too.
Yeah.
No
Just
other
this.
offending structures.
Oh, so I'll have to do it. It's the one standing spot.
Oh, there it is. Okay. The address wasn't.
347.
Second.
Wait a minute. I missed that.
I said I moved to approve.
Brett moves to
Okay.
approve
337
347.
approved.
Seconding.
Thank
And
you.
then 251.
Hold on.
Hang on, we haven't
Oh,
voted
shit.
yet.
I always do that every time.
You're
Hurry.
Hurry.
Go.
All right, we've got a motion by Brett to approve the dock repair for 347 Lakeshore Drive for York, and seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that's approved.
So we're skipping the crossed out one, right?
Yeah, that 251. Yeah, there's not a permit needed for what they want to do.
Okay.
And then at 67 Lakeview Circle, Gil to Switsky or transfer. And this one, you guys will have to make a couple decisions on. These concrete structures, they're 6x4, and I'm sure they've been there forever and ever, but there are two of them. And then they have a deck, part of it that is on city property that they don't pay for, but they will begin to pay for. And that's all I have.
And
And
we also have a vacant reserve.
Oh, that's
spot
right,
that
that's
you
right.
would be paying for,
that's
that
good.
you would also like to transfer.
It does say that reserve space.
And do we do that? Transfer reserve spots?
I think we talked about it
I think we have.
recently.
We just did one. And
I don't know why you, it's in your discretion, I don't know why you would be able.
I think the last one was not a plan to build a dock, but just to have space open.
to prevent any other docks in that area.
And since they already have a dock,
Yeah.
they wouldn't allow that on any.
So then they don't want to pay for the concrete slabs. so
Well,
we're
they
gonna
haven't been paying for that.
So they'll remove them then.
I don't know. I don't know. That's your guys' deal. I'm just reporting what's there.
Are the Switskys here?
No, I'm their agent that's representing them. I also own the lake house 2 doors down from this as well. I don't know that they have any, I don't know exactly what those are, remember exactly what those are, but maybe just the option for either, if there is a price.
Each one would be a structure fee.
And how much is that?
190.
95.50.
190 for, close to 200 per one.
Mhm.
Okay. So could they have that option to either do that or remove them?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I know.
So should we table that till they make that decision, or?
Well, you can look at the alternative, I think, too. Approve pending either removal or payment of structure.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Brett to approve the transfer from Gill to Switsky of 67 Lakeview Circle with the understanding that the structure fee is to be paid or the structure to be removed. Second, structures to be removed. Seconded by Jason. Further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that one's approved. .439 East Flint Hills Drive.
Transfer from Dr. Frederick to Bay. And they currently pay for an oversized dock and a deck. Now, this fireplace, grill, oven, stove, that was built. Yeah, long time ago by the engineer that actually was in charge of building the lake.
That is so cool.
And there's his measuring stick and our little batting and a diploma. And the new owner plans on remodeling that truck. Right, Dave?
Yes.
Thank you.
Work to do.
So that would be,
Mhm.
once they get the deck done, then that would be 3 structures.
No, I'm gonna charge him for that.
Is it a structure?
Historic.
Is it a structure?
Is it their structure or is it the property of the lake?
I would believe, it's my opinion it'd be property of the lake, but
It's
that's
on our
my
property.
opinion.
And it was built same time the lake that we own was built.
Yeah, if you, yeah,
I say that we don't charge them so that
Right,
nobody
don't.
says I'd rather tear the damn thing out and pay for it.
right. It is
And
really
then say
cool.
that they have to keep it.
It's too cool.
It is cool.
Technically, it's our
There
property.
you go.
I could get a hamburger.
Turkey and hamburger. Throw a steak.
Yeah, stay.
I like your ribs.
As long as they understand that it has to remain intact and not be destroyed.
And that's his measuring
That's
stick.
what I
Did you see the picture of his measuring stick?
Okay, need a motion then.
I'll move.
To what?
Transfer.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to transfer 439 East Flint Hills Drive by Brett, seconded by Annie from Fox Frederick to Bay. Any further discussion?
Can we keep in there that they have to, I don't want to say maintain, but they can't destroy or eliminate, damage, whatever, that fire pit, that grill,
If
whatever you
it's
want to call it.
historical, is there like a pathway down for people to go look at it?
I say.
Looks like there's stairs.
Matter of words, I don't know. Pretty right.
At this point, looks like you need to find the path.
Is Bay in here? Or the Bay's here?
Right here. We have no intention of.
I heard this.
We love it.
Isn't that cool?
We don't let this right. It's
No
cool.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Any
We'll
further,
have burgers and guys are all.
any further discussion?
You gotta cook fish, not burgers.
Okay.
Is there a, let's take a vote.
Problem's going all the way.
Those in favor of the transfer, those opposed. Brett, I didn't see your hand. Is that a?
No, I
Say
was
no.
okay for it.
All right, it passes.
Made the motion.
It's approved 5-0.
If I could ask a question, Chris Bay brought the signed paperwork with him agreeing to the, where'd he go?
Right here.
Oh, there you go. I don't, does he give that to the council now? Does he just give it to the clerk? Well, I didn't know what the process is. for that.
The notary here.
The clerk.
Oh, here.
And we
Okay.
got all the surveys
You haven't got
for
it
those
notarized?
properties, I guess I should
Is it
have signed
notarized?
prior
No,
to
it's not. I didn't sign it because I don't have a notary. I thought there would be a notary here.
Sorry, yeah, Kelly's off and you don't have your.
You are?
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
You did submit survey, that property does have a survey submitted for it, right? Okay. We just
Dave, I
didn't.
never got it, huh?
I didn't think to ask you about it either.
Can I make a copy of it? Would you mind?
May I have a copy of the survey?
All right, moving on.
So do I need my notary stamp? It doesn't say.
I don't know. Let me see it.
It says sworn to me by Kelly.
It doesn't say notary.
It doesn't say notary, actually, no.
Okay.
Just in front of Kelly.
Well, she would be there and do it probably. It's probably her.
Oh, she probably just took out the work that so she doesn't have to write everything out now. So she's usually doing it.
I'm not a notary anymore.
Yeah, so-
Well, I don't, now that it doesn't say that there's a notary.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll just submit it as.
yeah, I think just to Kelly. We don't usually get a copy of it. We just.
I don't remember required to be sworn statement.
So yeah, if you'll just sign that, Chris, and then you can leave it on the, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We'd like to see too.
Okay. Next up is the GAAP resolution.
The GAP resolution, it's an annual resolution because we follow cash basis law and it's generally accepted accounting principles. It's just something we have to turn into the Department of Division of Reports annually, so just a standard resolution that's passed annually.
You need a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve resolution 062424-1 by Brett, seconded by Jason. Further discussion? Those in favor? That passes.
More on the side.
And the next one is the revenue neutral rate. Intent to exceed the resolution.
Just one of those things that is, this is another one that's required. They set the revenue neutral rate. If you don't do a motion or a resolution to exceed it, you can exceed it. So this gives you the flexibility later if you need to exceed the revenue.
Well, and last year, we didn't have to. I mean, April advised me it wasn't necessary last year, so, but last year the mill rate was set at 46 something mills, and the revenue neutral rate this year is only 43, so.
Do we need to adopt the resolution or set a meeting? How do we?
No, you adopt the resolution because you gotta get it in by a certain deadline. Is, like I said, this doesn't obligate the city to do anything in particular. It just says you can't exceed it. And this gives, it's really about giving the county clerk notice, county appraiser notice that you may exceed it.
But the resolution calls for the hearing date, and 2 years ago, it said that, like, Tim moved, seconded by Annie, to give notice to exceed the revenue neutral rate to the county and have the city clerk set the hearing date.
Which I think we just put it like another meeting, of course. Like,
Yeah, it's like at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah. I mean, August is when it was previously.
Well, the thing is that, I thought that was, you only had to have the hearing if you actually did exceed it. It's like the budget hearing and then you do the
Yeah, like I
revenue
said, I'm
neutral
not,
rate hearing at the same time.
I thought we did have to do that. I thought everybody had had a hearing, but is that only for
Well, I
sure if
think
we're
it-
exceeding?
I don't,
We have to have a hearing if we're going to exceed it.
right.
Right.
yeah, this is the August hearing date.
Would be like the 12 timeline.
Yeah, it would be, but that would be about the kind of budget. So that's what I'm saying. It's probably the same thing. If one way after the other. So it would be set on
I mean,
first meeting of 12.
12.
Would you be able to go to the 26th if you needed to and still get it passed in time? I'm wondering.
With the 25th falling on a Sunday, that's typically the deadline to submit your budgets to the county.
Okay,
So I'm
so,
not.
12.
so yeah, so just set it on August 12th.
I move to adopt resolution number 6424-2 with the intention, is it the intention to exceed the revenue neutral rate and set our hearing for August 12th.
Second.
I guess.
Motion by Andy to approve the resolution number 062424-2, the intent to raise property tax mill rate with a hearing, public hearing on August 12th at Eskridge City Hall, seconded by Brett.
Raise property.
Well, that's what it says here.
Any exceeding of the revenue neutral rate.
All right. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Motion passes. Okay, next up is 367 Lakeshore Drive, Brown. and Luger Tree Removal, either one of those folks here.
No, but
Did we get an answer if we're,
My understanding is that there's gonna be a dock, reconstruction going on out there next door to that property, if I remember right.
It's the dock next to the tree.
Right,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be like a 1 week break between that dock repair. And during that 1 week break, I understand that the city employees are gonna be cutting that tree down.
Did
And
we,
I'm pretty sure that's what we decided on here.
did we get them the tools? that they
that's
need
what
to do
I
that?
think they were gonna go look at it. I thought that's what it was.
Mike told me he needed to get a chainsaw, which I told him to go ahead and get.
Okay.
I haven't heard if he's got it yet or not. Jim, do you know if he did?
Yeah, but he was waiting for council to approve it.
Okay, do you have any idea what the price of it is?
Roughly $600.
Okay, that's why he's waiting.
But that's just the chainsaw. That's not the chains, the wedges, or the ropes.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I know Jim and I have talked about it a little bit briefly, and the kind of the rough idea was under $1,000 for everything. They need to take that tree out,
Right.
and it would be then equipment owned by the city and available for use later.
And we need it, so my suggestion is that you guys approve it, but that's up to y'all.
So I'll make a motion to approve up to $1,000 to spend on tree maintenance supplies as needed for the city maintenance guys.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Jason to approve up to $1,000 for tree removal material such as chainsaws, chains, wedges, ropes, whatever they need. Seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that's approved. Okay. Next thing, 440 Flint Hills, Fleetviac. Are they here?
Yes. Good evening. I'm gonna stand up just so I can see all of you.
If you can come up if you want to,
I'm happy
they
to.
can hear.
I'm happy to. I can do loud, but,
And you are
my name is Wade Carr,
Wade Carr.
and my mother-in-law is Judy Pleviak there.
Okay.
I am an attorney, but I'm more importantly here as their son-in-law. We wanted, she's been here twice before to talk about the offending structures. We're not really interested in going to battle over all of this. We have a narrower concern, and that concern is really just coming to some sort of conclusion and certainty about what a structure is and what it means for them. They've paid already a structure fee on the dock itself and on the storage shed right there. That was done, I think, at the end of the year. After this ordinance was passed, the two ordinances were passed at the beginning of the year. They got another letter March 13th saying that there would be structure fees for a patio, which was described as two patios in a lamppost. So respectfully, they disagree that a lamppost in particular would constitute a structure within the meaning the ordinance that you all have passed. There are a number of examples listed of what constitutes an ordinance, and I would submit that none of those include things like a lamppost. I would also question, how the determination is made as to two different patios, but we would be willing to concede that the patio is more like what you've listed in the ordinance as being a structure. But I guess more concerning is the fact that since raising these questions and coming to the meetings, the Pleviacs, their perspective is that this feels like it's a moving target and that there are more things that might constitute structures. And I think as a property owner, they have an interest in understanding, being able to plan for what their fees are going to be year after year. Any property owner should have that kind of predictability. It's not a matter of, saying that the city's not entitled to do this. It's a balancing act, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our position, I think, is a reasonable one. in addition to the 2 fees they've already paid, is to pay a fee for 1 patio. And I would ask that the city council approve that, and then we can move on and have some certainty going forward.
You gonna remove the lamppost?
How do you view that as a structure?
I don't care if it's a structure. It's on our property. It needs to be removed. If it's not allowed to be on the property, it will need to be removed. It's trespassing.
Under what authority is it trespassing?
We own the property. We
Okay,
own the property that is on. It's a trespass if we do not allow it,
but it's been there for 30 years
and it's a trespass.
and has never been challenged until now. I think frankly, that issue has been waived by the city if you want it removed.
It's not been waived. We'll go on, we'll have somebody go on and remove it then.
I would ask the council to consider that. I don't think it's unreasonable to have a lamppost there. I think these are the types of improvements that property owners have made throughout. If there's a type of structure that you believe is worthy of a fee, I think that should be defined so that a property owner can pull up the ordinances and understand what they're going to have to pay fees for. Right now, if you read the definition of a structure, it talks about boat docks, boat houses, fishing dock, swimming platform, freestanding boat lift, boat slide, storage building, pump house, retaining wall, walkway, water line extending into the lake. Those are not the same type and character as a small lamppost, which, you know, frankly, is there for everyone's benefit. It provides light, it provides, you know, some measure of ornamental value for the lake. And these are things that people put in. And if the definition is so broad as to capture a lamppost, then frankly, it could capture a lot of other things that I don't think your property owners there at the lake would expect to fall within this definition of being subject to a fee. So I'm asking the council to consider our proposal, which I think is a reasonable middle ground.
We have 3 offending structures, and they were asked to either pay for them or to remove them. The way I see it, they've gotten away with it for 30 years. We've always said anything that you have on our shoreline that's not your property, you must pay for. That's not anything that's ever changed. You can say that it isn't specific enough, but it's still 3 structures there. Who's liable for those 3 structures? We're not liable for those 3 structures. We didn't put it there. Those structures were put there. I think in this case, the sticker shot for what it's going to cost is really the problem because it is an Airbnb. So everybody that they rent to is going to benefit. So they're literally making money off of being able to have stuff on our shoreline. So
I'm not sure I'm not sure how that changes the legal analysis though. But stepping back for a moment here, you've said 3 structures. The letter says there are 2 patios. We don't really understand how there are 2 patios. There's a tiered concrete, you know, coming up from the docks, but I don't see how that's 2.
How wide is that concrete?
I don't know. I think it's probably, would you say about 10 feet each? Like the lower level is, you know, probably.
Well,
if you have photos.
that exceeds our definition of the sidewalk.
Is that so? I tried to look
sidewalk
for
is
it.
4x4.
To be honest, I tried to look for it.
4 foot wide.
This was called a patio. I didn't see a size
So,
limitation on the
What we
patio.
allow is you get your dock, 20
Okay.
by 24, 12 foot high.
Yeah.
Inside that cube, knock yourself out. You get a stairway, walkway, whatever that goes down to
Okay.
it, 4 feet wide. Anything beyond that is a structure on our property.
Yeah, and
A fire ring, if you pull that lamp post out and leave that pretty little retaining rock and you put a campfire inside there, still classified as a structure on our property.
so let me just ask you though. I mean, we're talking about the concrete that comes not as part of the dock. It's on the shore. I think you have photos there.
I'm looking at
We're not disputing that that's a patio. I'm trying to understand how it's 2 patios.
the other one that has, looks like a flower pot at each corner and a
I think
round
that was
table in the middle.
I thought that was new.
That up on the shore, that has
The
been
bottom
removed.
right photo.
That one was removed
That's been removed.
last time she came in, I think. This
Yeah.
one.
So you have 2
I thought the
2 foot
table was
wide
done.
pads of concrete.
I guess, can I just come back to the issue that we're presenting for the council? We're asking for certainty. They are willing to pay something. If it's 1 patio, if it's 2, that's fine. But this does feel like a moving target. And I believe that your property owners, including my mother and father-in-law, have legitimate interest in just being able to understand and predict and plan for what their obligation to the city is going to be. They're willing to pay that. And I would just ask that you all put it to a vote in this matter.
Well, I can understand all that, and please understand that we haven't been out there on that property. We're trying, I mean, I didn't realize that one patio had been removed, so that's,
It may have been the meeting that you were gone from.
yeah,
so.
I've been absent for a couple. The other patio, Robin, is it one patio, two patios? What is it? One patio that's two levels? What are we talking
No,
about?
no, two separate.
So the patios was
separate.
this.
They're
This patio.
Down by the
here,
water.
And this
This is-
patio. This one's been removed.
That
So now we're
patio-
just talking about that patio.
So there is only one patio,
Yes.
and
Now,
so there's two structures.
So
Everybody,
Yeah.
you, sir?
Well, I
I think
mean,
that's-
respectfully, I just post would qualify, but
this is separate.
Again, even without the lamppost, it would still be called a structure.
is it because of the retaining wall you're saying, the little garden pavers
Just
that are
because
around it?
there's something there, a flagpole sticking right out of the ground is classified as a structure. We're charged for that too.
I don't like it.
no, we don't.
I'm gonna be
No, we
totally
don't.
honest with you.
No, we don't. We don't
Sorry.
charge for- I'm sorry, too, but Tim, I was under the impression we did not charge for flagpole.
I know one time we didn't. One time.
Okay.
I don't know if we made that as a,
Neither, because I haven't really,
Well, I think if it was standing on its own, I think if you had a flagpole on your dock. we'd
no,
consider
we're
it-
talking about in the yard.
Yeah,
There was a
okay.
flagpole.
That would maybe be the distinction. I'm not talking about something that's on a structure, existing structure. I'm talking about freestanding on its own.
I think the one that we approved was kind of in an awkward corner of the lot where it was like right next to their driveway. But it's still technically a property.
Irrelevant, yeah.
I believe
But the
that
point
was
being-
Martinez. And it was on the line.
There's two structures there. I think that's indisputable for
um,
us.
I disagree with the characterization of a lamppost as a structure. I think if that were the council's intent, those types of structures should have been enumerated, should have been listed specifically within this statute, and they're not in this ordinance, and they're not. I think if you go down this path, and maybe this is your intent, but I think if you go down this path, then as Mr. Luckman said, virtually anything that sits near the lake on the city's property is subject to the structure fee. And
It absolutely is.
I am not here to speak for anybody else. I'm here to speak only for my mother and father-in-law. I think that may be something that people are very unhappy about. If, where does it end, right? Is a chair a structure? Is a
If you
stepping
make a
stone a
patio
structure?
on a property that's not yours, you have to pay for it. Like, would you allow somebody else to come on your property and put a lamppost, put
It
a
was allowed
patio?
30 years ago. This has been there since.
It doesn't
So
matter.
It
I
wasn't
think
allowed.
Hold
It
on,
was
hold on,
done
hold
without
on.
approval.
I've had a lecture on the law here, and I'm going to return the favor. The city is not subject to waiver. It's not subject to adverse possession. You cannot claim a right or interest in the property of the city. It just doesn't work. It's a legal impossibility. That structure, that lamppost is either going to be a structure and going to be paid for, or it should be removed. The property underlying everything we're talking about is owned by the city in fee simple. I've litigated this subject. I've prevailed on this subject. What we decide we don't want on there is trespassing. If we decide tomorrow that every structure on this lake on our property is trespassing, that's it. They would have to be removed because it's the city's property and these people control that. So you talk about certainty and understanding the rules. The certainty and the understanding of the rules is that is not property of the individual owner. It belongs to the city. And if you go onto somebody else's property, you have to get their permission to do whatever you want to do. So that's the speech.
Be that as it may, the council spoke with the ordinance that it passed in defining a structure, and I don't believe that somebody who owns property there would be able to anticipate that thing like a lamppost or a chair or a
Mr. Carr,
paver.
I litigated that.
Can I finish my sentence, please?
No, you can't, because I've litigated this issue. I'm not gonna listen to somebody lecture me on something I've already won in court. The ordinances do not change the fact that it's a trespass if we do not recognize or allow it. That's been ruled on.
So the issue of a
City
trespass
of
is
Eskridge
separate from the
versus
issue of a fee. And if you want to impose a fee, then I think the council needs to speak and enumerate and list those types of things that are subject to the fee.
They have
This is not a hill we want to die on. I am telling you that my in-laws are willing to pay structure fees, but I don't believe that a lamppost is one of the things that the council approved in that ordinance that defined what a structure is. So I'm asking, if you sell on two structures, a patio and a lamppost, we go home, we pay our fee, you don't hear from us again. But I'm asking at least the council that's voting here today to consider that a lamppost doesn't meet the definitions as written today, and that we should be held to pay for a fee for one structure.
So maybe we clarify the regulation, but either way, it's still a structure on our property.
May I add something to this conversation?
It's
It's
also a
kind of
slippery
bothering
slope.
me.
I know, but anything
Now
built
we
on our
have to,
property
yeah, now we
is
have to,
subject to that structure fee.
Yes.
And then we simplify it.
now it's not a light, it's a hook with a bird feeder on it. What is it? I mean, the way you get to lawyer these things is the exact opposite of what the rule is. We're not going to get into a situation where the ordinance is allowed to be used against us as a property owner. So you guys, I mean, I have no problem whatsoever if those folks want to remove the circle and whatever else and the lamppost so they don't have the fee. God bless them, do it. But if it's on there, it should be charged.
Would the council be willing to consider making it a combo lamppost patio?
No, because it's not on the patio.
It's,
It's-
I mean, they're all part and parcel, but the same kind of unit.
Mr. Carr, if we were to sit here and allow that, you know how many lamp posts are gonna grow around that lake? All around that lake? We've been down this road too many times.
I'm not here to, that's your business to consider the effects for the rest of the homes and properties on the lake.
May I remind the council that they did combo a stair and sidewalk here, I believe it was meeting before, which makes it hard for me. I'm confused about a structure anymore, you know? I just list everything.
Robin, you're giving us information. You're not making judgments. Policy decisions are these guys.
Okay.
Take pictures, tell us what you see,
Okay.
try to be as accurate as you can. It's not your job to interpret the ordinance or make policy. So that's not your word.
I move moving forward that they pay for the structures that they have.
True too.
No, they have a dock, a shed,
There's
Yeah,
docks and
there's a
shed, they've paid for
dock,
those two
a
already.
shed, a patio, and a lamppost. Four.
Okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion by Brett to charge 440 East Flint Hills Drive at Lakewood Bundy for 4 structures on the property, seconded by Tim.
We had already paid for 2 of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have already paid for 2 to date. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes 3-2.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
I'm really thankful this will be our last meeting.
I'm sorry you've had to come so many times.
Trying to problems at the lake, and I'm glad this is the last time that I'll be talking about it.
Okay, moving on. The cyber liability quote.
I have gotten a hold of our account manager for this, but we haven't gotten any information yet, and I need to get a digital copy of the letter from our tech advisor. I get that to her, so I would like to table this until the next meeting.
July 8th,
Yes.
also move. So are you moving?
I'll move that we table this till July
I'll
8th.
second.
That works.
Okay, motion to table cyber liability quote to July.
Hope we don't get hacked.
by Jason, seconded by Brett. Further discussion? Those in favor? Motion passes. Employee Employee handbooks next.
Yeah, Julie's here now. We could go back.
Well,
to
are we gonna
photos.
do the employee handbook? Has
Okay.
everybody had time to look at it?
I've gone through it, but I've got a copy of the old handbook, and I've been trying to go through and compare the older handbook to the current handbook. So I would kind of like to have a little more time to keep going through that if we can, if that's all right.
Make a motion.
Okay, I will move that we table that to the next meeting, July 8th as well.
I'll second. I need to go through it.
Motion by Jason to table the employee handbook to July 8th, seconded by Annie. Any further discussion? Those in favor? That passes 5-0. Okay, I want to ask, first of all, is there any council concerns or mayor concerns that need to be discussed?
I had a resident approach me. Do we ever spray for ticks in the park at all? I know they've been worse this year because of the rain.
Not that I know of.
Is that something we could look into just to see? They are really
Okay.
yucky.
They've been pretty rough this year. I mean,
I've had a lot already. I barely go outside in this.
I had free.
But she said there was a lot on them and they just sat there for a couple hours. So valid concern. That many trees, I think.
As a blood-sucking attorney, I do have a professional.
Are you concerned?
Yeah, I shouldn't. I want to be sure that the spray doesn't get anybody else.
That's
Well,
right.
like
But you don't
that,
spread
you know, back-
Lyme disease either, so you know there's no
The
concern.
day is early.
As a victim of both Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, I'm kind of a fan of this idea.
Getting rid of.
You have any idea what chemical you use, how much it would take? anything?
God, I don't.
Never even
It's
heard of this,
been-
any city spraying.
They do spray. It's similar to like when you go out with mosquito spray. I mean, I don't know how super effective, but I don't know if the city itself or if we need to employ it.
Well, the city,
Well, it doesn't
Silver
work.
Lake does do
Yeah,
mosquito.
Because every time
I
I go
remember they
down
used to
there, I
fly
get
over
you.
and spray the town.
Yeah, I remember as a kid following the old mosquito truck around town when he was
Oh my
spraying.
God.
That's what Silver Lake
That
does.
explains a lot, Terry.
That it does.
I do remember those trucks.
Oh my God.
I would be interested in knowing if there's any safe remedies.
I
a
know
guy
the
that used to
mosquito
use, like,
spray is no.
Listerine, hydrogen
Like
peroxide, whatever mixture, and sprayed on his lawn, and that kept chiggers and ticks out of his lawn. And he had like 20 kids.
Hmm.
I live in St. Mary's. So. I'm not opposed to doing something though.
Can you look into it, Annie, and get back to
Oh,
us?
I guess. I mean,
have-
you want me to look at agencies too? Just
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, the extension office may.
Yeah, that might be a good start. And just get it on the agenda for next meeting, please.
a couple items here that are in the same neighborhood. As you know, my neighbor has a kayak shop, paddleboard, whatever. He's growing his business. I feel that we would benefit from letting him do business out at our lake. Not letting, that's the wrong word. But he will not do business out at our lake if he has to tag each individual boat that he
I
has.
thought he already was doing stuff up, isn't he out there?
With the paddle boards, because he doesn't
Well,
have to pay for the
not
paddle
legally.
boards.
I charge for paddleboard.
You do?
So if he ain't paying for a paddleboard, he's sneaking on the lake somewhere that I'm not.
With their airfield paddleboard.
An inflatable kayak or an inflatable paddleboard are not charged for.
Okay, well, that's what he has. is
Inflatables are,
inflatables.
right.
Okay, then that's why. But at any rate, I propose that we let him pay like a bulk rate. He can't put all of his boats on the water at the same time anyway.
is he doing like classes? Is that what you mean, or like
He
groups?
would do classes out there. Right now, he's doing all of his classes at Lake Shawnee or Perry or wherever he can go to. He's got a handful of boats and he's constantly getting retrained. He would bring the people out to the lake always if he rents his stuff out. People are gonna go out there, they're gonna be thirsty, they're gonna go get stuff. I mean,
Can he do his rental fees from Eskridge?
do I?
Can he do his rental fees from Eskridge? Never mind.
My only problem
He's making money
is,
with these classes though, right?
excuse me.
Yeah, he
Sorry.
charges whatever per hour he goes out there, and it's $20 for the kayak. I mean, we lowered it by half, didn't we? I mean, this was a discussion. I believe he came in and he
What is the going rate right now?
20.
$20.
How many
right,
does he
and
put
it
on,
was
do you think?
40 because
It was-
how many
it was
came in
40
and
the year
thought it was
before?
too high.
A year and a half
Do you
ago.
know?
No, it
I
started
mean,
out
for
at-
his classes.
we lowered it down to 30 last year, and then I talked to you guys, and we lowered it on down to 20. So it's down. It's been at 20.
So we lowered it to 30 and now to 20
Mhm.
because he came in and talked to us about lowering it, and we've lowered it by half.
I think the first time we lowered it was for him, and then the next time was actually our.
We just took the inspection fee off of the kayak. That's what we did.
Well,
How many kayaks does he have?
that's what I'm saying is how many was he
I think
getting
about 20.
put on the line at a time?
Well,
That's-
I
that's
do have a
everything
concern.
combined. Canoes, paddleboards.
If
but
I'm allowed
he's
to
not putting
speak.
20 of them on the water at the same
Yes,
time.
we are.
I was asked a question. I was trying to answer.
Your turn.
Okay, you're-
My problem is that when he first started up his business, he refused to tag his kayaks. He was not, in other words, that was technically theft. So that doesn't make him exactly an honest person in my book. And,
So he put him on the lake without tagging him. Is
oh
that what you're
yeah, he
saying?
was doing it. Mhm.
Having classes with them.
And to me, that's not an honest person that I want having a business connected to the lake or
I
the
don't remember
city.
the details behind that, but I think that he was doing what he believed everybody else was doing, just put kayaks
You
on
don't
the
do
lake.
what everybody else is doing. You do what's right.
He didn't know.
Oh,
When he did know, he
he
pulled.
was told that he had to get the permits for his kayaks,
And then what
and
did he do?
he refused to do it.
He was told he had to get permits, so he took the boats off the lake. He and Julie had words, and he left. Am I right, Julie?
Yep.
So he left.
I still don't
Michelle?
trust him.
And hasn't came back to
He
say.
followed the rule.
No, he didn't.
Left. He took his boats off the
Left.
water and left.
Now, after he's already had his class.
Mm-hmm.
When he was informed of the violation, he removed the boats. Am I wrong?
No, that he continued to have his little kayaks out there from time to time that did not have stickers on them. So I don't trust him. Sorry. That's just all I gotta say.
So now that he's trying to do it legally, you're still not wanting his money?
No, I don't want to deal with the
I think
things.
she wants all his money, not giving him a break.
If he
Right.
No, that's not what I
play on the
But
water
you would
at the
prefer
same
if he
time,
paid
why
for
can't
all
he
of
just
them.
add 10 of them?
Every single one he has.
Because
He's
what if
following
what
it
if someone doesn't want to ride
Right.
on the one that has tagged? They
If
want to
we
ride
have
that one
to
over
do
there.
it. If we have to do it.
They're not all the exact same. He's got several different classes and qualities, and he's got one made in 1972. Somebody wants a nostalgia ride, they can play with that one.
I don't think we cut anybody else a break, and I don't see why you would cut him a break.
Because he's going to bring business and people to this town. If he has he's talking about doing fundraisers where people paddle around and do like a poker run and stuff. He's going to bring people out here. You would stand to benefit more than the city would.
What's your proposal, Tim, for 20 kayaks? Give me a figure.
$10 a kayak.
Okay. He's currently got 18 boats, $180.
I still say he pays full price. If he wants to run his business and you say it's going to be so wonderful and he's going to earn so much money, then he
You
can
just
afford.
put words in my mouth. Please don't do that.
Then you say how much money he's going to bring in.
I didn't say he's going to bring in a lot of money. I said he's going to bring business to Julie. He's going to bring business to Julie.
through him. So anyway, I still think he needs to pay full price.
Okay.
Period. He's taken enough from the city.
So did you make a motion, Tim?
I move that we let him tag his kayaks for half price for his business.
Do I hear a second? Motion fails for lack of a second.
Okay, now there's nothing wrong with him going out there and renting his kayaks then, as long as they're permitted, correct?
There never was anything wrong with it. Oh, him renting them?
Just want to ver-
Yeah,
No, him
Yeah.
renting them out.
yeah. What's he gonna set up shop out there somewhere?
He wants to pull his trailer out there. Nothing wrong with parking out there. That's not illegal.
As long as they get a permit on them, or permit.
Okay, did you have other stuff? You said a few things, I thought.
No, I said a couple. That was it.
Okay.
Anybody else on the council have anything?
I just wanted to say that I didn't get to talk to Josh DeVader about his progress on the sidewalks, but it does seem that the park is done. It's just
You think of that
curing.
grass square?
No, it's still,
Okay.
I saw it
It's
tonight.
Still have a square.
I was gonna
didn't
drive
walk.
by and I didn't. I was hot, so I didn't
But the
want
rest of
to.
the rest of it
It's
is.
not-
They have a trailer.
I drove by on the way.
Yeah, it looks like there's. Are we doing these as well?
I saw them digging that out,
Did you finish? Sorry, I don't know.
the water drain going up Lake Hill.
That and Dennis. Has he finished Dennis?
It's finished, then it.
What's the city's responsibility to the payday sidewalk?
It's part of that.
The 1%.
Did we talk about this
Yes,
before they
we
started?
did. We
Okay.
decided that we
we
absolutely.
always
would not-
agree.
I'm asking for a refresher. That's all I'm asking for.
I was pretty sure we brought the invoice in. Didn't
There
you?
was something approved in the last two meetings.
Prior.
No, that was.
This
That was
council.
that
Bennett's.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got them that one tonight.
we agreed that we would absolutely not be paying for Payday's sidewalk that he tore out. Are we
you
paying to replace
have
that
it.
sidewalk? No,
That's what the bid was, yeah. That's what was approved months ago, like in February. Was that end of February
I
or the
don't
beginning
remember.
of March?
I don't
We
know.
all approved it. It was unanimous. And there was
And
no
so-
sidewalk there before. It was.
there was cement.
It was
Well,
a
yeah.
lot.
It was a
His
lot.
Yeah.
It was a parking lot, because it used to be
Yeah,
a parking
I'm
lot.
aware. But he tore out what was used as a sidewalk. And so we all agreed we would not be paying to put that back in for him.
I do remember us talking about it, but what we got the bid and voted on is not that.
Boy, I wish I had a money tree.
Just research that for us, Brett, and find out when that occurred. Okay.
All those trees in the park.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, I got a few things.
Wasn't my sidewalk.
I got a letter from Aspen Egbert requesting a pay raise. So you guys need to consider that. Didn't ask for much, just considering one. She wants a pay raise. And you can either make a motion to give her a raise, or you can table it to the 8th of July and give you time to research your thoughts on that.
Well, we do the raises in September, correct?
We didn't
No.
do anybody's except
No,
for
not
the two
necessarily.
I presented in
They can occur,
November, I think.
they can,
Everybody did their review.
yes. She had a review in September, but the raise wasn't given because she'd only been employed like 3 months.
But she's been over a year at that now.
Yeah, she's been over a year, so in reality, she would need she would need an updated evaluation, but, which I can do, so that won't be a problem. It'd be pretty similar to what she's got now.
Does anybody know how that's going? Like, the letters that are being sent out for people who don't register their dogs and the fines that are being collected for the dogs that come into the kennels before people pick them up?
I don't think we're getting the revenue off of that. that we
Is
should be.
any of that?
I think there's been some people that have paid for the dog at large. But for the most part, I don't think that's happening. I think a lot of these are being called and they come and get them before you spend the night with them.
I
I
know.
can ask her to come to the next meeting, and she can answer your questions because I can't answer them.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let her know. Another thing too is I've got a concern about all the vehicles that we have at the maintenance shop that, and maybe since Jim's here, he might be able to answer this. Would have asked Mike, but he's not here. A lot of these, every one of those vehicles down at the maintenance shop are insured currently right now. Every one of them, including the police truck.
That's been immovable.
Well, my understanding is that it doesn't work, it doesn't run. So that being the question, what about the other vehicles that we're paying insurance on that are or are not running? If they are,
vandalized.
I'm sorry, what?
They've all been vandalized, parts stolen off of them, gas taken
Yeah.
out, holes pumped in them.
But
I don't doubt
his
that.
old truck and my old truck, I believe, are operable. There's an issue with Drew's. Mike was talking about. I don't know exactly what it is or not.
I will say that the insurance is liability, but it amounts to quite a bit over the course of a year. There's 11 vehicles that we're paying for. Not all 11 are down at the shop. Not all 11 are not being used because, like Jim said, they are using them. We got at least 4 vehicles that people are using and running around town with. But
You can just put them on hold with Diane if you have.
$9,524 a year we're paying for vehicles that we're not using. That's my concern.
That's for the ones we're not using or all the vehicles?
Well, that's for all the vehicles.
Okay,
So we'll
because that's a
take,
big number for
yeah, I'm
non-used
sorry. I'm sorry.
vehicles.
We'll take, you're right. We'll take 4 of those off that list. Maybe even 5, because I think the dump truck's on this list. And even though we don't use it every day, we do use it. There's a 4-wheeler that's on this list, but we use that too. Spraying streets or running around and checking water meters or gas meters or whatever. That's something we need to look at and see what we have in our inventory that we are not using. And either if they're junk, they're junk. Let's sell it and get it off our insurance rolls.
Well, do you know anything about the boat?
I know the boat does not run. It is not. It is. Let me rephrase that. The boat is not water ready.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to just tell everybody that the downtown visioning study came to Eskridge on Thursday, June 20th. It was a success. I want to thank Lisa and Marcia for walking around with the group and giving them a little history of what was going on. And Annie and Brett for coming to the staff a review when they were done. And they're going to send us a report when they are totally done with that.
My apologies. I wanted to go, but I was still contagious at the time.
That's okay. And just an update on the delinquent accounts report. When I first took over, we were owed over $80,000 by our customers. That number today is $16,700. So thanks to everybody that's been pursuing those that aren't paying. Now, Julie, you want to give us a report? Is that what you wanted to do? Okay, let's hear it. Time's up.
Well, just a little friendly reminder that we are having biscuits and gravy out at the lake on 4th of July. It's going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th from 7 in the morning till 11. So, if you're going to hanker for biscuits and gravy, come on out.
And what's it being raised for?
The replacement flag from around the cemetery.
You know, you can call the Alma Signal and have them put it in as a community event.
Oh.
It don't cost you anything.
Well, I know somebody who works in Alma every day that could do that for me.
Good luck with that. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, or just
4th, 5th, and 6th.
okay? That's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
We desperately need some handrails, and for them steps, we've been trying to sweep them and keep them from being slippery.
Yeah, I busted my butt
Yeah,
today and just about broke my nail.
Yeah. And so our broom sweeping system isn't working. I think, did you tell me you'd called Coldy's to get some bids?
I talked to them. out there, and they were going to, I haven't called them back, but they were going to get some options for us for handrails for the steps for
Okay.
both of them.
Yeah, because we desperately need them.
Mm-hmm.
We need new buoys out there. There was a kid out there just ripping and tearing around his jet ski. And I had 4 lake people. I know they don't like to be lake people, but residents at the lake call me and complain that he was driving too fast to the coast. And finally got hold of him. And he is, the cop, they finally called the law and the cop got a hold of him. And his excuse was they weren't clearly marked. He didn't know that he wasn't supposed to go through there. Talked to the game warden, I don't know, a few days ago, one day last week. Anyway, he said we need about at least 7 to 10 new buoys.
Just because they're not clearly marked, or we don't have enough.
We don't have enough, and they're broken. There's a bunch of them that are taking on water, and so they're just floating around willy-nilly wherever they want to go. So I know, there's not a bunch of money in the budget, but it's something that really needs to be done.
We'll also need the little buoys that go on the rope that around the swimming area.
Absolutely.
It's one side is broke and just drifting in the water.
Yeah.
And the others need replaced because there's been multiple little balls that have came. I don't know how they come off of the rope, but they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And the boaters, can't see them at night or if they're coming up through there because they're not supposed to go into the swimming area with their boat. So, how are they going to know if there's nothing?
It could cause a little damage to their boat.
Good.
Tear up the props.
Yeah.
Everything.
Or with pipe that's sticking up, but it's submerged. You float over top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in a submarine now.
Yep.
And my suggestion was to sell that boat and get, because when everybody was calling me and complaining about that kid, there ain't nothing I can do. I can sit there and look outside and see if I can see him or if he comes back in.
Well, you're not the authority by any means. So.
Well, I'm not, but I get it. Well,
I thought we decided that she could document it, take a picture, give it to Robin, and Robin can execute sending the person a letter.
Well, I think it depends on what the violation is. I think that there's a lack of a permit. I think it's probably not that easy, but if you somehow to document that, that would be a little, if you're doing something that violates a state law or a city ordinance on the lake and it was documented in some way, then it could be a municipal court charge. I don't know if there is specifically a city ordinance about driving in or boating in the coves.
I know. I told him when he finally came to shore that if he came out here again and drove like that, I was going to yank his permit and he wouldn't be allowed to go on the lake with his jet ski. I realize I don't have that authority, but he did not know that. So that's what I told him. And we are down there in the primitive camping. There are 17 camp spots down there that do not have fire pits. And that's quite a few. Considering you don't want them building little rock rings to build a fire in,
You mean like they have at the rope swing?
or moving them.
Oh, yeah. The rope swing has got one. Just like
And
that.
the primitives, how much did it go up in price this year to book that?
It's $11 now.
Right, and it went up from 6?
Yes.
It's a work in progress for sure.
Well, that Firefly wouldn't. There's no way to give them their $6 discount if they're in a tent. And Firefly also blocked out this weekend as a 4-day had to have, and next weekend after or the 4th.
You guys should have
Two.
control over that, not Firefly. So
I talked to Mary Jane. She said Firefly did it, and there was nothing she could do about it.
So should we move some picnic tables and fire pits down to the primitive area? Because
Like,
when people
Out
rent,
of the campsites are
they
already
need a
in.
place to cook and they need a place to sit. If
They need to place a park. I mean, that's been my complaint about them this whole time, is they're not really set up completely. They never have been before. This is the first time we've had fire pits. And we just got those, 1-2 years.
I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to seeing off-road parking down in that area, even if it's a 5-foot strip of gravel beside the.
I mean, you
main
don't
road.
have anywhere to
That's what
park.
I would be in favor of.
but you're taking a completely green space, which by the way you've never
If you want a
really had
campground,
any
you need to
problems
prepare
with.
it for a campground. In my opinion, they're not hiking out to the lake; they're driving.
Who's gonna maintenance them every year?
It's a thing. It's an
Spray them.
added cost. I'm not disagreeing with you, Brett. I am not. But every campground I've ever been in has had a parking pad. Otherwise, they're just parking on your green grass and killing it.
And a good example. Yeah,
There's
Has
that
has the gravel, the new gravel that we put out there last year, has it been sprayed or is there still stuff growing up through it?
Yeah, Robin's sprayed it. Carla sprayed some the other day. Somebody came by on the sprayer on the 4-wheeler. I think it was Barry. Must have been Barry. Came by and kind of sprayed. Not necessarily where I thought he should have done it, but you know, I am a bossy gal, so like, I wanted to hear.
Do we know if Robin's been trained on the sprayer and ATV?
I don't think she knows how to mix up the chemicals.
That's pretty simple.
Well, and we talked about that last August and multiple times since then that she needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah, because it'd make it a lot easier for her.
Sure would. And it'd get it done.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm gonna put another plug in about the parking. Last year I went out there shortly after we had several days of rain. All the camping spots were taken. In fact, some of the areas where people that drive motorhomes, those spots were all taken. But there was one out there, big old brown one, was about as long as our city block. And that one was parked in the grass, just past the first cove of the swimming area. I mean, it was a mess.
Oh my God.
It was a mess.
I know
down
they
there.
got it back out again.
I think they had to wait till August when it dried up. I really don't know how they got it out of there.
They did make
It-
a few ruts.
it-
I was
a
gonna
few-
say, out here, I mean, I've had ruts. I've had to phone back into my yard because somebody drove through it like that
Yeah.
in a truck.
So that's the kind of damage your green
Sister-in-law,
grass
yeah.
is getting out there whenever we
Glad to get
provide
them out.
something. Something to
I
think
was
about.
not happy. They were
Maintenance
deep.
of that is something to think about too.
Yeah.
Because we do not have the staff to be maintaining everything that we have. So we should not be adding more.
That's what I was going to say. And one more thing. Painted the shower room white on the walls, blue on the floor. Apparently. I called Barry the other day and he came out with a hand auger and just hand augered in the shower because people kept going in there and washing their sand off instead of using the outside shower. Anyway, he thought he'd gotten it. Well, he didn't because we painted the floors blue when we painted and it backed up in there and washed away most of the paint. So I had to scrape all that off the floor. So I had Lisa ask him to come back out again today. And I told him about the drain in the bait house also. And he apparently worked on it for a little while and then said, looks to me like you need to call a plumber. Which when my son did it, he used the sewer auger and then used the power sprayer that I have out there.
Fire
And
washer.
it worked, yeah. And it worked the rest of the year. So anyway, Terry Keith, I seen him on the way up here and he said he was gonna go out there for me tonight
Do we know what the drain is made of?
and try just PVC.
Okay. Because I've had my share of, augering my ceramic sewer line. And let me tell you that you can run out of space and you really do need the plumber.
Well, that only goes though from the shower
Okay, it's not a long line.
No,
Okay. Mine was.
it can't be more
long.
than 30 feet,
Can't.
if that.
Okay.
Are you putting anything in that paint on that shower floor to keep people from slipping on it?
Yeah.
Like what?
Sand?
Okay, just wanted to know. Now, I think she said earlier
I read that in the handyman
that she
magazine.
slipped on the steps at the lake. Is that right? And I was told that those things would be slip resistant. So obviously they're not.
Is it rougher concrete?
It's not rough
They were
enough.
rough, but they didn't make it.
Yeah,
rough.
I mean, not as much as you cut your feet. on it.
Algae's gonna grow.
Yeah.
A handrail
Is or
would make a lot of
algae is or
difference.
is not going to grow?
It doesn't matter if that algae grows. It's I mean,
It's
you
gonna
could
be-
have
oh, yeah, it's
you
gonna
could
be
have
slick.
no water and it would just take you out.
It'd
It
be
don't
slick,
matter.
yeah.
But yeah,
So we got that.
just let's
rough.
not.
Well, I mean, if we, like I said, if we get a handrail there
Yeah.
in the middle, you know, like at a swimming pool.
What's the second?
or what we have.
You want another executive?
Yes.
Oh, let me go to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I like your dress too.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
Then I need a 10-minute executive session.
And you said 5. I wrote it
You
down.
did say 5.
Well, that was because Julie wasn't here at the time. And Julie's now here. And I need maybe 5 minutes for her and a few minutes for the other thing. So. Tim,
Okay, so I go
Tim,
smoke first though?
we can do it. No, we can do it. We can get her done probably in 7 minutes.
Okay.
Well, let's make it 10.
I moved to whatever Todd wants me to say for 10 minutes.
Is that something? Okay. The motion is to go into executive session for non-elected personnel for a period of time of 10 minutes, starting at 8:41 p.m.
You go
Return into
Yeah.
active session at
We're gonna go into
8:51 p.m. at
Executive section.
the City
On the
Hall
camera.
meeting room.
with
She
No.
did
With-
say you need to.
Julie present.
This
Calling
needs to
Julie
be on the
present.
camera.
and yours truly.
And
Executive
Todd
session.
Luckman,
The
City
motion
attorney
needs to be on.
Oh,
and
excuse me.
No,
Extraordinary.
you're good. I'm just waiting.
and that it will be discussing employee matters. That's it.
I'm waiting for the motion to go
Second.
through before I turn the
Okay.
camera.
Who did the motion?
Tim.
I did.
Seconded.
Motion by
Jason.
Tim to go into executive session for non-elected personnel matters for 10 minutes, starting at 8:41, commencing at 8:51, or ending at 8:51.
You forgot
Meeting
your
back in this
water.
room. Hello, Jerry. Haven't seen you